Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi, wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'd like to welcome everyone to this open house session of the International Open University, the IOU. And this is an information session, you can say, about the International Open University. And also we'll be providing a presentation regarding the university and some information about this university. We would say it's one of the most unique universities in the world, and you'll get more information about that, inshallah bi'idhnillah. And then after that, we'll have a Q&A session where you could ask your questions, and we could there'd be some dialogue, inshallah. You could ask your questions through the YouTube chat feature, inshallah. So to begin, International Open University, formerly the Islamic Online University, is a pioneer in virtual education, founded in 2001 by the well-known Islamic scholar, Dr. Abu Amina Bilal Phillips. And the IOU offers various programs, including certificates, diplomas, and degrees in Islamic and Islamicized modern subjects. And the whole idea of the International Open University is to make knowledge available, authentic knowledge available to Muslims throughout the world in a convenient, easy to access, affordable format. And its mission is to be a catalyst for change in the Muslim nation, and to facilitate a progress and improvement of human civilization. The motto of the International Open University is to change the nation through education, inshallah. Now, this slide explains some of the values that the IOU holds dear. One of these, or you could say features of the IOU and the mission, number one is authenticity. Alhamdulillah, the curriculum is based, to the best of our ability, on authentic knowledge from the Quran and Sunnah. And like today, we find knowledge is available in various formats, very easy to access knowledge, whether it's from a handheld device, a mobile, there's knowledge all over, especially when it comes to Islam and Muslims. However, it's not easy oftentimes to find or to know knowledge that is authentic from what is not. So authenticity is the number one of the important values of the IOU. Number two is accessibility. With the IOU, there's the chance to study at your own pace, both online or offline, from anywhere in the world. Many people have a dream or a goal of studying Islam or studying other subjects related to Islam, such as Islamic economics, teaching, education, so forth. However, don't have the means to travel, to go to somewhere such as, overseas, Medina, Egypt, Azhar, wherever it is. However, this format is available online, accessible. Number three is affordability. Most people know that the universities around the world, they offer post-secondary education, but at a very high fee, especially in the West. For us here in Canada, US, and these North American and South American countries. So the fees at the IOU are comparatively low and fairly affordable in every country. And we'll go more into detail on that later. Number three, the community. Once you join the IOU, you'll be part of a global community of Muslims from over 200 countries, alhamdulillah. Number five, Islamic ethics. Of course, there are different ways to pursue education today. However, it's really difficult to pursue education or be part of even a professional field that includes moral and ethical values. And this is one of the goals of the IOU. One of the values that we hold dear is to adhere as much as possible to Islamic ethics, integrity, honesty, and responsibility. And the last of these values would be quality and application. We do our best and are committed to providing a top quality online academic experience to help students throughout the world face the challenges of the 21st century. Now we're going to go a little bit into the history of the International Open University. Try to be brief in this. It was originally opened in 2001 as the Islamic Online University and offered paid bachelor's level courses, but for various reasons stopped operations in 2002. And later on in 2007, alhamdulillah, by Allah's blessings, it was relaunched with 22 free diploma courses and over 1,500 registered students. In 2010, IOU expanded its offering by launching one of the world's first online BAIS programs, a Bachelor of Arts in Islamic Studies, with registered students up to 30,000 students from 177 countries. So this was, you could say, a breakthrough. As we mentioned, people, many people who have this intention to travel to seek knowledge and earn, let's say, a degree, certificates, and so forth, Islamic studies. But the BAIS was launched by IOU in 2010. 2014, IOU expanded its goals and its reach by not only offering studies in the Islamic field, in the religious field, but also in other fields, but of course from an Islamic perspective. So the bachelor's degrees in Arabic, education, Islamic banking and finance, and psychology was launched in 2014. And of course, all of these from an Islamic perspective. We do have banking, finance, psychology, education today. However, lacking a lot of moral values and what we are familiar with, alhamdulillah, through the blessings of Islam. Also, in this year, IOU received a university license from the Minister of Higher Education in the Gambia. And that was, to help towards the courses, the programs, and the degrees and diplomas of IOU being recognized elsewhere. And also in this year, IOU began offering the BIS program in Russian, alhamdulillah. In 2015, 2 more departments were opened, Bachelor of Business Administration and Information Technology. So it was, IOU started expanding to other areas, business and information technology. And of course, with all of these, there is Islamic content as well as Islamic outlook. And in this same year, IOU offered the Master's in Islamic Studies. So that was the first master's program at the IOU. In 2017, another language was added to the BAS program options, which is Bahasa for Indonesians, and was very well received. A very large number of students from Indonesia, alhamdulillah, did enroll into this program. And also another project of IOU was launched, a little bit different from the other ones, called the One Mass program. That's a 1 million African scholarships initiative. And the idea here is to help underprivileged African youth earn a bachelor's degree through scholarship. So without having to pay for their scholarships, which is difficult for many people. And going on in 2019 and 2020, now the IOU had been pursuing accreditation so that the degrees, the programs and diplomas and so forth at the IOU would be better recognized throughout the world. And alhamdulillah, we made good progress. The National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority, NAQAA, of the Gambia granted IOU institutional accreditation. And IOU also officially changed its name to the International Open University at this point. In 2021 and 22, this accreditation expanded from the NAQAA to include bachelor's degrees in Arabic, business administration, Islamic banking and finance, psychology, education, Islamic studies, as well as master's in psychology. So, alhamdulillah, more programs were being accredited at this point. And this year, 2023, the NAQAA granted program accreditation for IOU's master's degrees as well, not just the bachelor's, in, again, Arabic, business administration, Islamic banking and finance, education, Islamic studies, as well as the postgraduate certificates in education. As of the 2022-2023 academic year, 9,105 students registered for different programs at the IOU. And here are some stats on this slide related to the IOU. And as you see, it's one of the largest education institutions in the world, and especially for Muslims, as well as in terms of diversity. So we have over 30,000 enrolled students in 173 countries. Over 20,000 students complete at least one semester at the IOU. And we have over 2,300 graduates spanning 92 countries, 7 academic departments with 24 programs. And we also have student committees comprised of students who do volunteer work to fulfill not only the goals of the IOU, but also it is part of IOU's education curriculum to give back to the community and implement the knowledge that we gain. So this is part of the, so the student committees, there are 78 student committees in 50 countries. Also over 2,500 exam centers in 146 countries. And these exam centers are local community institutions, organizations, centers, masajid that cooperate with the IOU to administer exams for the IOU, and over 200 staff and faculty in 35 countries. And this again shows the diversity and the reach of the IOU, alhamdulillah. And over 6,500 enrolled students are in the spring 2023 semester, 32% on scholarships, such as the one math scholarship to help African students and others. And another note is 54% of students are female. So an opportunity for female students as well in female education. Going on, let's talk about the founder, Dr. Abu Amina Bilal Phillips. Many Muslims have heard of him, but in case you haven't, he's a Jamaican Canadian Islamic scholar, converted to Islam in the early 1970s. He went on to pursue, a pursuit of Islamic knowledge after that, starting with a bachelor's in Islamic Studies at the University of Medina. After completing the bachelor's there, he moved on to the master's in Islamic theology at the King Saud University in Saudi Arabia, and then completed a PhD in the UK in Islamic theology as well. So, very strong background in academics, alhamdulillah, and taught Arabic and Islamic studies in high schools and universities for over 20 years in Saudi Arabia, the Middle East area, UAE, and Qatar, and set up Islamic studies departments in various universities. He was also named amongst the 500 most influential Muslims publication. And many of us who grew up in the West are familiar with Dr. Bilal's many books. Especially in English back then, there weren't that many options. And alhamdulillah, Dr. Bilal wrote many key books in fundamental areas such as Aqidah, Tawheed, Fiqh, Tafsir, and so forth. And according to Dr. Bilal, the goal of making authentic Islamic knowledge and Islamized modern knowledge readily accessible to the world through the medium of the internet is a noble mission worthy of dedicating and sacrificing all of one's life and all of one's means. So the idea here is, internet is a tool. We could use it in good, we could use it in bad, we could use it just to waste time. However, just like any tool out there these days, especially in modern times, what we have available through technology, using it for good is what we as Muslims believe in. And this is an example of how we could spread knowledge and da'wah of Islam through the means of the internet. Next, we're looking at instructors at the IOU, and you will see that most of these, there is, again, diversity in instructors. Because it's an online university, is the opportunity for instructors from all over the world, alhamdulillah. So we have, as we said, Jamaica, Canada, Grenada, USA, Australia, Lebanon, Pakistan, India. So we have, instructors who are experts in their fields, whether it's Islamic studies, Arabic, and so forth, or in other fields such as psychology, education, Islamic finance. And in those fields, they have a background in the actual knowledge and, in terms of modern knowledge, as well as the Islamic aspect of that knowledge. Alhamdulillah. Let's go into the departments and programs at the IOU now. So as you see, these are some of the departments that we've already talked about. So Islamic studies, Arabic knowledge, as well as other areas, liberal arts and sciences, such as education, economics and finance, psychology, business administration, information technology. We'll start with the Department of Islamic Studies because that was the first program launched by the IOU, and a very important one. I would say, especially for those of us in the West, because there aren't many of us grew up just maybe going once or twice a week to a class or a teacher and learning Islam. So this is a comprehensive, systematic approach of studying Islam and trying to learn key fields of Islam that would not only benefit a person, but benefit their families and the community in general, inshallah. That's the goal. So the first thing is a Bachelor of Arts. We mentioned this, BAIS. As in all the degree programs, I'm going to go into some of the options with this degree program. And then the other ones follow suit in terms of options, but going into details about the actual contents of the degree. So the Bachelor of Arts, the requirement, like any university, is a high school diploma or equivalent. And the duration is 4 years, like many bachelor's programs. However, one thing to note is IOUs gear towards the general masses, people all over the world, and there are options, some flexibility for people to finish, in more time, take more time to finish in order to take less of a course load for those who are professionals, those who have responsibilities such as parents, students who study full time in another field. So there is the option of doing it, and we'll go into doing it in a flexible format, and we'll go into more details later. So this program, and the degree, the BAIS, includes core courses in Sharia, plus Dawah, supplements, Islamic law and propagation and calling others to Islam. As in many of the Islamic universities, somewhat similar to the programs, including Arabic, fiqh, tafsir, and so forth. However, in addition to this, modern course content is also added, such as education, psychology, finance, management, information, communication technology. And this is a purpose of someone who does have a degree in Islamic studies, oftentimes works in either teaching, such as a school, a college, and so forth, or counseling, or treating people's issues in the community, sometimes dealing with finance and managing organizations. So all of these are part of the course. There are some aspects part of this program or degree. And then there's another option, which is a postgraduate certificate in Islamic studies, called the Bridge to MA or BMAIS. The idea here is there are people who already have, it's very common that people already have a degree from university in another field, whatever field it might be, science, math, technology, medicine. However, would like to pursue a more formal Islamic studies or systematic program. So this gives the opportunity for a person to take a postgraduate certificate, which if you were to take a full-time load, a course load, will take about 1.5 years, and complete it in just that amount of time. It includes the core courses of the bachelor's degree, but in a concise manner. and allows the student to go on to a master's in Islamic Studies. And then, of course, the Master's of Arts in Islamic Studies is also offered. And the requirement here, unlike the bachelor's, would be a bachelor's in Islamic Studies from an accredited institution. Of course, someone who finishes a BAIS at the IOU could qualify. And they're both coursework and research-based components of the master's program. And the duration is 2 years full-time. And again, there is some flexibility to take it part-time, or even to take it, just like the bachelor's degree, take a higher course load and complete it sooner. And the program content is similar Islamic studies material, however, at a higher level, such as Aqidah, Tawheed, al-Asma wa Sifat. The Arabic language is a more advanced level, focusing on communication, Arabic literature, and so forth. And in terms of fiqh, more theoretical and advanced topics such as maqasid al-sharia and international relations, hadith, tafsir, and history, and so forth. And then the PhD in Islamic Sciences was launched at one point. However, the IOU put that on hold. However, we are planning on launching it again soon, inshallah. And it should be a 3-year program in pure Islamic studies, theology, or interdisciplinary studies, such as Islamic social science, pure or applied science, or humanities. Inshallah, that will be coming up in the future, and a master's degree is required as expected. We're going to go on to some of the other departments of the IOU, such as education. Of course, as in this department, as well as some of the following ones that we'll be presenting, it will be looking at the knowledge, or this area, the field of knowledge, from a modern perspective, as I mentioned, as well as Islamic content, basic Islamic content that everyone needs, but also in the field itself. So for example, in education, the methodology of education, modern education, but also the methodology from the Sunnah perspective, such as how did the Prophet ﷺ teach, and what type of methodology did he use, as he was the best of teachers. And in this in these programs, other than the Islamic studies, there are a few options. There is a Bachelor of Arts degree, which again requires high school diploma and is 4 years full-time course load. And there's also an option to get an Associate of Arts degree, which is 2 years, half the time. Still requires a high school diploma, but a shorter and not as complete a degree. And then there's an option to do a certificate in education for those who just want to do 1 year. And this program has, as I mentioned, both the conventional subjects taught in most universities, as well as Islamic studies, and includes teacher training. And we'll go on. The Department of Islamic Economics, Banking, and Finance, which of course is a big area in these days, because there's a lot of, we have modern banking, modern finance, but the Islamic area of it, some countries implement it, some of the Islamic options. However, this is something that many Muslims are interested in. Again, offers the Bachelor of Arts degree to students, 4 years, associate degree, 2 years, and certificate 1 year. And again, conventional subjects taught comparatively. So again, it's economics as it's taught in most universities in modern times. However, from an Islamic perspective, as well as there'll be core Islamic studies subjects, such as, basics, the beliefs, fiqh, and so forth. And then these are some of the other courses that you see there, principles of accounting, economics, business management, and so forth. And then there's a Department of Psychology, which I would say is important for Muslims, because it's an area that oftentimes might, it's required in many situations, but mostly in a secular format. So how about the Islamic side of it? So this is what this looks at primarily, both modern and the Islamic content. And again, same options: bachelor's, 4-year degree, associate degree, 2 years, or certificate, 1 year. And the contents include Islamic psychology, child health, abnormal psychology, as well as Islamic counseling. And there's also a master's in this program, either in psychology and Islamic counseling, actually in psychology and Islamic counseling. And it requires a bachelor's in psychology, and it's 2-year in duration. And the course content includes Islamic psychology and psychotherapy, psychological testing and assessment, and so forth. So it's more advanced. There's also Department of Information Technology, as we mentioned, and of course, from an Islamic perspective. And in terms of studying the subject, in terms of professional as well as implementation, inshallah. So again, Bachelor's of Science in IT is offered for 4 years, associate degree, 2 years, and certificate in IT, 1 year. And some of the program content include introduction to computing, programming, calculus, geometry, object-oriented programming, etc. Then the Department of Business Administration. Again, same options: 4-year degree, associate degree, certificate, and includes introduction to business, marketing, management, economics principles in these areas, organizational behavior, and organization management. Of course, this is, just to reflect on these areas, a lot of times people don't think about this from an Islamic perspective, because many of us, we've had our education in a secular environment. And oftentimes when we work, even in an Islamic organization, we might be using those principles. However, the idea here is to Islamicize these subjects and look at it from an Islamic perspective, like what does the Quran Sunnah say about these areas? And let's go on to Department of Arabic Language. Although Islamic Studies does have an Arabic language component, many Muslims out there, potential students, are interested in studying Arabic, especially if it's not your first language, in order to understand the sources of Islam, Quran, Sunnah, and be able to understand, because much of the content of Islamic knowledge is in Arabic throughout the ages. So the first option is a bit different. It's called the Intensive Arabic Program, IAP. This is a 2-year program and focuses entirely on Arabic. And it's a little bit different from the other programs in terms of how the semester are aligned. The other programs contain 2 semesters per year, but this one, the 2 semesters are split into 2 because of the focus just on each semester. There's one main Arabic course and includes focus on grammar in Arabic, writing, reading, listening, and understanding. The program content includes grammar, as well as the Medina syllabus books and other classical works such as Ajurumiyya. Medina books are famous among those who study Arabic for foreign people whose first language is not Arabic. And then the Arabic Bachelor of Arts degree is available as well at the IOU. It's a 4-year degree and goes into more detail in Arabic grammar, as well as pre-Islamic, Islamic, and modern Arabic literature. In-depth study of all Medina series books. So a more in-depth study. The Medina series books are, different levels and different areas. Rhetoric, linguistics, and morphology in Arabic is also explored. And it's based on a course taught at Imam Muhammad ibn Saud University in Saudi Arabia. There's also the postgraduate certificate in Arabic as well, which is similar to the Islamic one, where someone who has a degree already in a different field, say engineering, science, arts, math, medicine, has the opportunity of doing 1-year certificate in the basic core courses in Arabic grammar and going on to a master's degree in Arabic. And the master's in Arabic language studies as well, which is 2 years and takes, the Arabic language studies to a higher level, looking at classical and modern Arabic literature, poetry, as well as Islamic religious texts. Now let's go on to study plans, fees, and dates. We talked about how the fees are different at the IOU, and So is the program and the schedule. So as I mentioned, there is flexibility in the study plans. So a student, whether you're in bachelor's program, associate degree, master's, has the option of taking 1 to 3 courses, and that would basically provide 25 to 40 credits. And in terms of commitment to studies per week, it would be about 6 to 18 hours, depending on what your course load is, and also depends on the person. But this is something a person could manage if you were a professional working in a field already and studying part-time, or a parent at home looking after children, or a student studying in a different area, and so forth. It would take 6 to 9 years to complete a bachelor's degree by doing it part-time like this. A full-time course load would be 6. So you could take 4 to 6. And these are split in this way because of the fees as well. The fees are according to whether you take part-time, full-time, or accelerated. And then as you see, it's more commitment per week and takes 4 to 6 years to complete when doing full-time. So it's a little bit faster. And accelerated is an option for those who have more time to commit. 7 to 9 courses can be taken. And that would mean a person would complete their degree in 3 to 3.5 years, rather than the 4 years for doing a normal full-time, but of course requires more commitment per week. And here are the fee structure at the IOU. And this is a sliding scale, meaning depending on which part of the world you're from and the economic status of the country is usually based on that. And as you see that the part-time for an undergraduate program, $80 to $280 for the whole semester. And this is pretty well it, except of, certain $10 or $20 penalties for a person who drops a course or something like that. So compared to most universities, as you could see in the world, this is very affordable, very moderate. And just like that postgraduate certificate, 160 to 440, master's 225 to 570, and the doctorate, inshallah, in the future 630. So obviously when you take more courses full-time, it goes up a little bit. So undergraduates about 120 to 450. So in the West, especially in countries such as Canada and America, it would be the higher bracket. So about 280 part-time, 450 full-time for a bachelor's degree. And if someone wants to accelerate, it's 560, and the rest are there. And this is a rough schedule of how the semesters at the IOU work. So you have the spring semester. The registration starts early registration. So there's 2 options: early registrations and normal period. So if you are considering studying at the IOU and just want to join soon, there's always the option of joining early. So for example, at this semester, the fall semester in September, a student could enroll as early as the first week of April, all the way up to August 31st, because the semester starts on September 1st. And just a note that the normal registration period, September 1st to 30th. So if you do consider that this is something you find beneficial, which inshallah, I believe it is, and I'm sure you would agree, there is still plenty of time to enroll and start your studies at the IOU. And it is online. So even if you were a few days late, it's not really difficult to catch up, inshallah. And as many things in Islam, when you do think of doing something good, it's encouraged to hurry to do it, because shaitan always keeps you back. It's like going to Hajj. It's encouraged in the Sunnah to hurry and not delay, because some things will come up in life all the time. We ask Allah for tawfiq and so forth. And as you see, the spring semester is similar. There's usually a midterm examination that is, for most programs, online, and a final examination, which I mentioned, a person will go to a local exam center. And there are, as you see, many exam centers all over the world, especially major cities in the West, in Canada and US and so forth. And those who register early, if you're thinking of joining the IU for the first time, will receive a 10% discount, which, it's a bit late now, but if you do decide to do it for next semester, or encourage you to do it as soon as possible. And let's look at accreditation. As we mentioned, that the accreditation has been, the process has been worked on by IOU for some time, and we've achieved accreditation in the Gambia, and also by the actual, not only the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science, and Technology in the Republic of the Gambia, but also their National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority. Now, the Gambia might not be that famous, but the idea is once one country recognizes the degree, we're hoping to continue with this and make it more recognizable throughout the world, inshallah. There are some other areas of subsidiary parts of the IOU, such as the Global Quran Memorization Center, and this is dedicated to memorization, and students, anyone over 12 years of age can join, 12 plus, and it includes one-on-one ijaza program, group programs, tajweed, recitation, science of recitation, as well as memorization, and all the instructors are qualified with with the permission to teach. And then there's a general diploma in Islamic Studies. So over 40 courses offered in various areas. That's not part of a full program like a bachelor's degree or associate degree. And it's as little as $1 per month to join, a small fee just to join and start studies. And also there's an Ilm Institute, which is more geared towards professional Islamic and modern short courses taught by highly qualified instructors. I'll give you an example is someone in the field, in a professional field such as communication or marriage or whatever, counseling, would be able to give insight from Islamic's perspective on these important areas. And there's some requirements for online learning. Of course, language is an important requirement, and most of the programs are taught in the English language, especially for the West, except for those exceptions I mentioned. That's a different program in certain countries. And a lot of the Arabic programs are taught in the Arabic language, except for the beginning courses, usually in English. Time management is very important, is in any area of study, but especially this for those who many students are professionals, like I mentioned, or students otherwise. And in terms of time requirements, if a person allocates 5 to 6 hours per course per week, and they should be able to also focus on deadlines such as written research papers and so forth, and exams, they should be able to complete courses at the IOU. So, what I usually tell people when they ask about this is, if you're a working person, let's say, and dedicate, some time during the week, half an hour to an hour in the evening, sometime for many of the days, and then focus on the weekend on completing tests and so forth. That's a good way to complete the program. You should also have the ability to go to an exam center and check with the exam center beforehand. And computer literacy for online studies is always an important thing. There are some resources you can use at the IOU, but a person should have the ability to browse, use a computer, word processing, and so forth. And that ends the presentation about the IOU itself. And alhamdulillah, we appreciate everyone who joined us today for your time and taking the time to listen and find more about the IOU. However, the important thing is this initiative, the goal here is, again, changing the nation through education. And seeking knowledge, Islam highly encourages it. According to the hadith, طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم. It is an obligation of every Muslim to seek knowledge, especially what is required. Inshallah, this is a means to elevate our ummah today, and we are in need of this, inshallah. So we will open up the floor to any questions or answers. Sorry, any questions you might have or comments, inshallah. And I see some questions coming in, alhamdulillah. But before I go on to the questions and start answering some of them, And again, I'm not like complete expert on every area, but we will definitely do our best to answer your questions during this session or follow up with you on any questions that we might have to research or ask about. And before I go on, you could feel free to contact or follow us, International Open University, at these through these methods. So you could go to the website, and I would encourage you to go and check it out. There's a lot of information on the website there with the different programs, and a very friendly website. It's iou.edu.gm. And by the way, I'm part of the Canada Student Committee, and my name is Mubarak. And if you do have any inquiries and you're from Canada, or even if you're not from Canada, feel free. We also have an email address, but the main email address that you want to use is the info@iou.edu.gm. That's info@iou.edu.gm. And I'm sure we will be putting that into the YouTube chat for you. And we do have a WhatsApp number as well, as you can see on the screen. And then you could feel free, and please do follow us on Facebook, Islamic Online University, or Twitter @Media IOU, and also on Instagram, International _Open _University. So so let's go on to the questions. We have one question, alhamdulillah, from a brother. He says, or sister, is possible, is Nigerian government accepted the university? So the question, I believe, is, does Nigeria, the government of Nigeria, accept the IOU as a university? If not, how about those that are studying in the university from Nigeria? This is related to accreditation, which is, as you see, a lot of the accreditation that, alhamdulillah, IOU has been working towards for quite a few years. As you know, it's a fairly new university, opened about like a little more than 10 years ago. And we just had the 10th year anniversary, you could say. And, you know, and we've been working on, and recently accreditation has been granted by the Gambia, especially. And this is an important step. We can't say for sure that it's being accepted everywhere. However, there is evidence personally that I find through other students, fellow students, who mentioned that they've been accepted to certain university, but I can't say for sure what if the Nigerian government accepts it. But I'm assuming if the Gambia accepts it, which is, I believe, a neighboring or another African nation, and a person who might have studied in university in Gambia goes to Nigeria, would they accept it? So that would be the answer to that. I could follow up with you if you would like to provide your email address. We could give you more details on that, but that's as much as I could mention right now. And of course, you could feel free to email info@iou.edu.gm to get more information about that. Okay. And if you have any other questions, feel free to let us know. I believe there's no other questions. But any of the programs, specifically programs, method of study, and so forth. Okay. So if no other questions, we will end, inshallah. Again, we want to thank everyone for joining us today. And whoever does view this presentation, it's an encouragement. Today is still the beginning of September. Still time to enroll into the IOU and take on this journey of seeking knowledge, whether you seek Islamic knowledge to fulfill your spiritual needs and your goals, and to help yourself, your families, and the community, or any other field of knowledge that could assist the ummah right now. Again, yourself, your families, your nation. Inshallah, this would be a great goal, as we say. Inshallah, we thank you again. Jazakumullah khairan. Subhanakallah bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.